Okay, so you saw the drone footage around Memphis, Tennessee on my final day of flying, final battery. Had a little bit of an incident. I'm trying to get that footage repaired because I was able to find the drone and I was able to recover the SD card, but the final file I think got interrupted obviously as it was recording, so I need to kind of repair that file. So hopefully I can get that footage to you. That'll be interesting to see. I was basically following a boat out of the entrance there, and then as I slid sideways, probably went right into a tree. So let me show you what happened. So this is on the east side of the Mississippi River. This is an island called Mud Island. It is kind of a public park that's available for people to go to. There's an amphitheater, etc. So it's very foresty on the edge, except right down by the water's edge. So you can see here that I probably hit this tree. But you can see it's surrounded by all this very dense vegetation, very nasty, thick vegetation, and bugs and spiders and such. So I spent about 20 minutes digging around in here one day, and I used the remote to show the GPS position and kept it on so that it kind of guided me right to the drone, but this was the last known position. And this drone was likely moving at about 25 or 30 miles per hour, kind of sidestepping to the right. So it likely hit this large tree here. So on the second day, I was trying to find a way down to the water's edge, and you can see there's a little walkway down with some stairs, but it is again very overgrown at the bottom. So I probably hit this far tree, and this is the forest land that I don't want to be crawling around in. But I probably hit that tree, and I'm probably down there at the base of that tree somewhere. But I did walk around there yesterday, crawled around for 20 minutes, got bit up by ants. Let me see if I can find a better way. Yeah, it's somewhere in here. And sure enough, the next day I found a path down through the thick forest here, and here you can see I'm looking southbound, and here I'm looking northbound, and then as I look up on the hill, there's the tree I likely hit. So as I wander up the hill, you can see, can you see it? It's sitting there in the grass, and there it is poking out like little Mr. Johnny 5. And I found it, and there it is. So I have broken both of the back arms. The cover over the lens came off. I did not see it immediately there. After I looked at it later, one of the front motors is a little bit rough in its rotation. This is the normal motor. Pretty silent. Hopefully I can demonstrate this. This is the messed up motor. And let's see, I'm back now, and let's see if I can repair this. Okay, so you saw the pictures, had a crash. I'm trying to get the footage, but the file is damaged, so I need to see if I can repair that file before anything seems to recognize it. Hopefully by this video I have the footage of it crashing. not a whole lot of damage, except these back arms did come separated at the place where they're assembled, really. There's a bit of damage, but I think I can maybe get it operating again, maybe get it flying again. The motors still work. I'm missing the front part, so I will have to replace that with a neutral density filter or something. But let's try to clean this up and probably use CA glue to glue these back together. Hopefully I can get it back operational again. I've made myself a little workspace, and not much damage to the front. The front seemed pretty untouched. I did fire up all the motors, and all the motors did turn. This one sounds a little suspect, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to glue these arms back together, and then I'll probably try to just take off and just hover and see if it'll let me just hover at 1 foot, and see if it can, keep itself in the air after I get these. It should be relatively easy to glue these back on. I did the light wires seem damaged, but I'll just ignore those for now. I think I'll just try to go with motor wires for now, and see what I can do. At the worst case scenario, I could replace both arms and motors if needed, but the motors typically have the wires attached, so these motors seem good. Ironically, I think one of these motors sounds like it kind of got torqued maybe. So might need to replace a motor up there on the front. So let's take a look. I'm just going to try to get this glued, get these arms glued back on, and we'll see if I can hover it once this is all back in order. So just tuck these wires in a little bit and just keep them out of the way. And I'm gonna just try some super glue. Try to super glue this back on here like that. And I might kind of temporarily tape it in order to keep it there while it's drying. I may want to try to get this plastic back where it should be, just inside here. Yeah, there we go. Just inside. Try to get these, make sure these wires stay inside and don't get pinched. These are, some of these smaller ones are the lights. So don't care so much about those, but I'll probably try to super glue these together. CA glue, and then it'll be missing a section, but we'll see. All right, so let's get it in position here. Maybe I can super glue it without too much trouble. Yeah, I'm gonna get my super glue. This is fresh Gorilla super glue gel. Let's see what we can come up with. It's already kind of coming out of there. Really coat these surfaces and really start on the leading edge of this. Get a nice thick bead there. And I may have to wipe off some excess, we'll see. Make sure those wires stay in place. And that's gonna basically be it right there. There we go. Now let's wipe off some excess before it dries. Okay, that one should be good to go. Now I think I'll probably just want to let that dry. This one doesn't have nearly as much contact surface. This one may be more challenging. Just try to get these, I'm going to try to tuck these light wires in a little bit. Get these tucked in better so they aren't part of the problem, getting in the way of things. effect, since they're useless anyway, we're not going to use them. I'm going to just shorten them. Get rid of those so they don't get in the way. And again, probably try to super glue that right onto there. It seems like it'll key in pretty well, and see what we get out of that. And again, I think if this doesn't work, I probably have to buy new arms, rear arms. The motors seem good, so I might need to rewire those motors, but the motors seem good. This gets me a little bit better position to see what I'm doing here. And again, I think just a bunch of glue here, overdo it and wipe the excess. We'll see, a little bit up underneath here. And I will even try to put some on this surface here, since this should key in pretty nicely here on this side. And let's see what we get. I think that's pretty good. It's not going to want to hold itself on there. I think that's getting pretty close. Let's see if I can. I have to wipe some excess here. Try to get all this excess off so it's not too crazy. That looks pretty good. It seems to have keyed in there pretty nicely. There we go. Now I'm just going to set this aside, let this rest for quite a while, probably a full day. So this is after repair with the CA glue. You can see here the left rear arm and the right rear arm. They did go back together pretty seamlessly. The small wires that operate the lights are completely severed, but the motors are active. So not too bad here. Incidentally, it only flies in sport mode, but it does seem to be behaving pretty normally, hovering and moving around pretty normally. And the gimbal is a little bit wonky. It wants to stay at an angle. And these are brand new propellers. So the gimbal is acting a little wonky. About half the time it will boot up, do its self-test, and basically fail and end up giving up at some sort of angle like this. And then the other times you'll boot up, it'll do its self-test, and it basically works normal and is ready to go. So we'll see if this is something that gets better or worse over time, to see if that needs a repair as well. Well, I'll leave you with that. So thank you for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit the like button, share with your friends. Thanks for joining me.